In our culture, there's a lack of self-acceptance, and that is drilled into us through the entertainment, through what we watch, through the people that we see and admire. It is that we can't accept ourselves as we are. If you look at the beauty industry, it has drilled into us that we're not good enough as we are. We have to change ourselves, we have to modify ourselves to fit in and to belong and to be beautiful. If you look at any kind of industry, that is the message. The message is that you're not good enough. And to deepen that belief, we have our negative experiences and our trauma. When we experience trauma, we experience a form of rejection, and that rejection leads us to also reject ourselves. The example is when you're dating and someone doesn't reciprocate your feelings, you feel rejected, and then you start internalizing that whenever you experience rejection of any kind, one of the effects of that is that you start rejecting yourself. If you get rejected by men, you start rejecting yourself and you start trying to modify yourself to fit in to what you believe would have got you that acceptance. If you've been rejected based on your color, you carry shame about your color. If you've been rejected because of your ethnic background, you carry shame to be from that ethnic background. If you've been bullied about your weight, you carry shame around your weight. So we carry shame around the things that other people have rejected about us. And everyone has something where they felt rejected. Some people feel rejected not feeling beautiful enough. Some people on their weight, some people on their color of skin, some people on some physical feature or flaw. And because we've been rejected or other people have not accepted that, we carry that with us. That is one of the effects of trauma, is that we carry that and we also reject that. And I came across this clip online which was about Madame Joyce talking about how she feels shame about her hair. So she has African hair and she's always carried shame about her hair. And there was a situation where the man that she was dating kissed her hair and she felt overwhelmed by emotion and just an overwhelm of feeling that someone had accepted her for her hair. And it made me think about how we're always looking to other people to validate the thing that we feel shame about. If we feel shame about our color, if we feel shame about our hair or about our nose or about our skin or about our weight, whatever it is, we're looking externally for someone to validate that. And it's because that rejection becomes internalized and we start rejecting that within us. It made me think about my own personal experiences and how there's the things that I've rejected about myself because I've experienced people reject me for that, and how I carry shame or embarrassment about these things that are things that I can't change. They're things that you're just born with. And what I've come to realize is that my job is, and I've said this before, that although we're not responsible for the trauma that we've experienced, we're responsible to heal. So we're not to blame because other people have rejected us. We're not to blame because we've experienced people's rejection or people's abuse, but we are responsible for our healing because it leaves a wound, and that wound becomes our responsibility to heal. And this is a wound that we carry, this rejection of ourselves, this lack of acceptance. And our role is to heal that wound. And we heal that wound by accepting ourselves. The thing that we're looking for other people to do for us so we can feel good about ourselves, we have to give to ourselves first. A lot of the things in healing all comes back to you. It all comes back to things that are actually in your control. Healing is never about controlling other people or controlling the situation. It is all about how we can control ourselves and how we can give back to ourselves and how we can nourish and protect ourselves. That is what healing is about. We heal by giving to ourselves what other people didn't give to us. And a symptom of trauma or an impact of trauma is that whatever the other person does, whatever the other person has done to us, we start doing to ourselves. And so we become a perpetrator. But because we become perpetrators to ourselves, we become abusers to ourselves and our bodies, we don't see ourselves as abusers. We can see ourselves as abusers when we do it to other people, but if we were to abuse our bodies, if we were to hurt ourselves, we don't see that as evil, we don't see that as abuse. And what healing is all about is that we don't continue the cycle. We don't continue the cycle on other people, and we don't continue that cycle on ourselves. And this is why I talk about the dark side, because what the dark side is continuing that abuse. That abuse could be continued on another person, but a lot of the times the first person that it's being committed against is yourself, and it's your body. And what healing is to break the chain, to break the cycle of abuse. And when we talk about self-acceptance is probably one of the foundational qualities to healing. When you experience self-acceptance, no one can touch you. Nothing can touch you. Other people's opinions can't even touch you anymore. What other people think of you doesn't affect you. At the root of confidence is to have full and whole acceptance of yourself as you are and as your life has unfolded. Blaming other people and blaming ourselves does nothing. Yes, those people and that group and all of these things, yes, they might be an issue. That's true. Racism is an issue. Violence from men is an issue. All of these things are issues. But in terms of the first step to healing, the first step to healing is to defy the very systems they have operated on. So with racism, they operate on the ideology that color is inferior to whiteness. And if I accept this narrative, I'm also now part of the system. So I'm now also the abuser. I'm on the other side. I'm not on the side resisting that system or that belief or that ideology. I've joined their team. And I'm also abusing myself as well. And if I'm abusing myself, that means that I will also most likely have that same dangerous belief about other people. So I'm not resisting. The first form of resistance is to reject that narrative. And how you would reject that narrative is by a radical form of self-acceptance. It is to give yourself what you seek them to give to you, but you're going to give it to yourself. And another example is, let's say you come from a background of physical violence. Some people can start self-harming. That is a form of violence to your body. And you're continuing the cycle. You're not stopping the cycle. Another example is, let's say you've been rejected by a man, and that could be he's cheated on you, he's left you, he's ghosted you, any of those things. And I think this is what a lot of women do. You might internalize that as, I'm not beautiful, or I need to change myself to be his type or to be more beautiful. So you go into modifying your physical features using plastic surgery. We need to ask ourselves, does that come from rejection? Does that come from trauma? We can talk about how, yes, there's nothing wrong with plastic surgery and all of that. But when people are doing plastic surgery, are they doing it out of full self-acceptance of themselves? Or is it because they reject some part of themselves? And I believe that it comes down to self-rejection and self-hatred of some feature. In terms of healing, you are accepting that narrative. You're giving in. You're doing the easy thing. The difficult thing to do is to reject the narrative, is to resist that narrative, is to break that chain. And that is my concept, and that is my understanding of self-acceptance. Self-love is the removal of self-hate. Once you're able to remove self-hate, you'll be able to love yourself. And self-acceptance is very difficult to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to do at all. We all want to be accepted. We all want to belong. And when you don't belong, you start changing yourself, you start modifying yourself to fit in with everyone else. And then we failed. We failed at self acceptance, we failed at self love, we failed at challenging the system of oppression, the system of inequality, whatever that system is, the system of male domination, the system of sexualizing women. And so resistance is what self acceptance is.